Assalamu alaikum and welcome to season 4 of course, none other than the Restaurant Talent Show 2019. This is where it all happens and this is where we find the best restaurants here actually we can say in the world, like they're all here in the UK because we have the best restaurants here, and then from there we of course pick the best of the best and we bring them to the show to give you the right advice and of course to guide everybody in the UK on the restaurant industry. Now if you're wondering, Nadia, what happened in the last episode, here's a little recap for you. Welcome to the Restaurant Talent Show 2019, brought to you by Catering Circle.
Health is a very big macronutrients, nutrients itself, like breaking down the calories and everything. So we want to like promote that. On our menu, we've got a specific section which says healthy eating options.
Just put a light salad dressing with chopped chicken tikka, and this is proven to be very popular during my lunchtime trip.
Instead of using vegetable oil, we're using olive oil.
Demand on nan na peshwari nan hoga garlic nan hoga los peshwari garlic damna nan banaya de. Customer happy.
There's a lot of garlic to make up instead of having the butter.
Not all the fat are bad. We need fat in our body. The fat which has got more omega-3.
I cook a fantastic dish in my kitchen, but I don't know how to sell it.
Yeah.
I score 0.
Yeah.
So branding is very important.
Last year was big about jackfruit burger, pulled jackfruit burger. You can switch that into a vegan option.
If you're working with another local business, getting that organic, fresh food in as well, you know, if you're working with them, they're promoting you and you're promoting them.
People are reluctant to try something new. If you give them free, they'll try. If they like it, they'll come back again.
This particular dish is a vegan-friendly dish. Now, when I was sampling this to the public, the response levels that I got back were very positive. They wanted to see more of it.
Football club.
Whenever you launch any new product in the market, so it has to be very much marketed.
They were concentrating with just the local community, but I think if they just expand the areas, it will be beneficial for them.
Some of the professionals in this country are doing a lot of training.
Sampling the dish in the town, that's a brave thing to do.
Yeah.
I remember Gordon Ramsay used to do that.
We've got custom dishes, premium more dishes where the customer can choose what they want in their dishes.
We want to be able to provide fresh food and it needs to be sold by the evening.
আমি এক ঘন্টা ভিতরে বিভিন্ন শপিং জায়গা দেখি এবং ফ্রেশ জিনিসগুলো নিজে গিয়ে শপিং করলে ফ্রেশ জিনিসগুলো সবসময় আনা যায়.
Best advice for them is buy cheaper, and that's the way you're going to save.
It's a busy market out there and it's constantly changing. So it's about keeping the customer centre, but being basically receptive to what they need, which can change all the time.
All right, here we are. It's on the screen right now. In first place, we have Marthi Lounge. Congratulations, Abdul. Absolutely well deserved. Well done. And in second place, we have Satat and Dori, Joinal Abdin. You made it through. So. There you have it. It was absolutely amazing, and actually I'm sure everyone that watched would agree with me. Everyone was just sitting there thinking, who's going to win this time? It was so close, and I'm pretty sure that's what's going to happen today as well. And as you know, just a reminder, if you've just joined us, you can of course be a part of the show. You can download the Catering Circle app on your iPhone, on your Android, on your smartphone. Go ahead, download it, and you can watch back all the episodes whenever you want, and of course you can interact with us too. And don't forget social media, Facebook or Twitter, Catering Circle. Please go follow us and send us your messages, which we would love to read out today. Now, just a quick reminder for those that have not watched this before, how it works. We have 8 contestants participating in this show, and at the end of it, we only take 2 to make it through to the finals. That's going to take place at the Business Conference 2020, where only one will be crowned the winner of 2019, which I'm super excited about. Now, to make all of that happen, of course, it wouldn't be possible without our very important judges and our special judges. So I'm going to go straight over and I'm going to introduce our panel judges. First of all, we have MD Abdul Haq, who we all know, of course, is the face of the Catering Circle. Now, you're, of course, the founder of this amazing show now that's been around for so many years. Before I even go into a big introduction, how does it feel to sit here and, you know, see such a great platform just expanding?
Well, firstly, thank you, Nadia. The catering circle was designed to help the restaurant raise their profile and also find solutions and get everybody involved. The thing is, it's a neutral platform where everyone can come into it, all the leaders, all the experts, and really share ideas. I know we're doing a lot of competitions and a lot of people think they got to win it, but it's all about sharing the ideas, and competition is just a bit of fun bit. Absolutely. I wouldn't say it's a Jerry Springer show, but I would say, make it like a show.
I hope I don't look like Jerry Springer. That's I think I'd be worried about that. But thank you so much. And of course, we can see you on Bits and Bites as well, which is the specialist IT show. So thank you very, very much for joining us today. And of course, on our panel today, we have Jamie Mountford, who is a food demonstrator and a consultant chef, currently running his own kitchen at, I'm going to say this wrong, Elsley? There you are, did it right. All right, and of course, your MasterChef Professionals 2016 finalist, Cambridge 105 Radio Drive Time chef, and previously you've worked as an executive sous chef at Radisson Blu. Thank you so much for joining us today. What would you like to say to our participants?
Good luck. I'm really honoured to be here, and really enjoy yourself, and just go for it and just be natural, really, and just be confident in what you do. You do it every day. You're under pressure from the customers, so just be yourselves, really.
Well, at least they don't need to cook here, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
How under pressure were you then?
I was really under pressure.
Yeah, I can imagine.
Did you feel it?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think they've got it easy, to be honest. I think Abdul's been very kind to them, not making them cook. Maybe we should add that on the next season.
That's on the Restaurant Star show where we give PhD special subject.
We'll get them to do it live. We'll get them to do it here. I miss out on all the food.
Yeah, next time.
All right, I'm going to come straight to one of my... OK, I'm going to say this out live, on air, my favourite human being in this entire world. So I don't care what anyone says, he really is one of my favourite people in this world, ex-president of BBCI, the first Bangladeshi food safety and health safety trainer. He's an accredited trainer of Chartered Institute of Environmental Health, Royal Society of Public Health, Meat and Livestock Commission, and of course he's the author of the book called Food Hygiene. It's none other than my favourite person, everybody's favourite person, a pillar in our community, Shagur Bokhtfaruk. Thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you very much.
What would you like to say to our participants today?
I think whenever I come here, this is not my first time. I've been here before as well.
Yeah.
When I go home, I learn something new from the participants.
Yeah.
So all I can tell them, not to be nervous, let them, whatever they feel like saying, let them say it.
Absolutely.
So that they feel at home here.
Yeah.
And they learn from us, we learn from them.
Absolutely.
So, and last thing I'll say, that safety is the best policy.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. As Uncle said, you've got to keep it, you can say whatever you want, but I'm going to be strict because you only have 120 seconds in the first round. So you can say whatever you want, but within 120 seconds. Now, they hold 60% of the votes. And of course, we've also got our special judges who I'm going to introduce you to, who hold 40% of the votes, which is quite a lot. So you've got a lot to do today. So first up, I've got Mr. Raza Mir, who's the Senior Local Authority Officer covering food, health and safety and licensing. And you've got so much experience that you've got to put out there. What would you like to say to our participants today? A tip. Give me a tip, actually. Special judges, give me a tip.
Well, first of all, I'm grateful to be here. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Sorry, let me give you the mic. There you are.
Is that better?
Yes.
So, first of all, thank you for inviting me to be in this fantastic show. For the participants, best wishes that everyone goes through, and whoever wins, be a tremendous thing. Just a bit of a tip. There's a lot of legislation out there, and I'm looking forward to listen how you sort of going to implement this on a practical basis, but at the same time how you will make a living from your businesses as well. So I'm looking forward to that.
Excellent, looking forward to that. Now, next up, we've got Ali Khan, now celebrity chef. Everyone's seen his face, everyone knows him, ex-Secretary General of Bangladesh Caterers Association and Director of UK Bangladesh Catalyst of Commerce and Industry, and the founder and Secretary General of BBBF and MDC. Thank you so much for coming. What would you like to say to our participants? A tip.
Yes, before I go to the participant, first of all, I'd like to thank Catering Circle. This is their 4th seasonal program, and it's something that bringing all the youngster together. And actually, this is how we can see all the youngster actually are here today for the talent show. So good luck to all the chefs, all the participants. And my tips would be to you, as you know, the industry is dying, and you guys are the youngster, and you can actually make a lot of things, a lot of changes to the industry. So industry actually watching you guys. So I think you need to put forward your best of the best, and then let's see how we can judge you.
Thank you so much. And you definitely want to keep that in mind, because that's from the Vice President, Senior Vice President. So you definitely want to take into account what he's saying. Next up, we've got Jan Knights, the Managing Director of Square Mile Insurance Services. And you've got years of experience working in the Asian catering industry. And of course, we see Square Mile everywhere, every event we go to. So it's great to actually see your face finally. What would you like to say to our participants?
Thank you, first of all, for inviting me. Obviously, insurance is a requirement for any business, and to have health and safety brought to the forefront is so important, and the things you're talking about today will help me help you save money. If you haven't got health and safety in place, God help you when the inspectors come round, and God help you if there's an insurance claim. But my tip, insure with me.
And of course, just to let you know, there are other insurance companies, but please do look online before you make any decision. But Square, we've obviously got Square Mile Insurance here, and if you would like to know more information about it, you can look on their website. Thank you so much. Next up, we're talking about insurance. Now it's about training. You know, how important is training? We've got none other than a training consultant and the MD of Hamlet's Training Centre, Jamal Ahmed. Now, training is probably the most important thing when it comes to health and safety. What would you like to say?
Thank you, Nadia. Thank you, Catering Circle. Of course, Catering Circle also training our catering industry. So thank you, Gokpai. As Mr. Rajabai said, I know our caterers are in here, the industry leaders or the participants. Of course, they are sometimes think about when environmental health officer goes, they worry about what kind of question they're going to ask them. But as you say about the training, if we look at the Food Safety Act 1990, if we look at the Health and Safety Act 1974, so I want to hear from about them, what are the due diligence in place, what kind of control measure they take to ensure that they get 5-star hygiene rating, and also I want to hear them how they ensure the health and safety of their staff member in their business. Thank you.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. Now, on that note, I'm sure you're wondering, what is this topic all about? Because all I'm hearing is food, health and safety issues. Oh my God, insurance, save me right now. Well, you know what? We're really kind. So here's a little tip for you. Here's everything about today's episode.
Episode 4, Food Safety and Health and Safety Issues. Maintaining health and safety, allergenic ingredients information, and being aware of trading legislation. The restaurant industry is changing. Are you? 8 out of 10 diners will have already made an impression about your restaurant before entering your doors. From a recent study, the Food Standard Agency reports 4,500 UK hospital admissions a year from food allergy, 10 food allergy deaths per year. 1 in 4 people surveyed said they or a relative had a reaction eating out. With regard to allergen information, are your staff well trained? Do they check ingredient labels before preparing food and keep a record? Do customers have access to allergen information? In 2014, a watchdog found nearly a third of lamb takeaways it checked contained a different meat, with some containing no lamb at all. The law requires food to be accurately described.
Makes me feel rather sad that it's some of my fellow restaurateurs who could have done that. In whichever shape or form you look at it, it's wrong.
Sometimes the takeaway or restaurant isn't aware of the meat they are actually getting from their supplier.
It's still a criminal offence at the end of the day to misdescribe food. Businesses can face penalties of up to £20,000 fine or up to 2 years in prison.
Poor hygiene can lead to food poisoning. Restaurant work can be dangerous to your health. We must have a process to safeguard everyone. Do we have to? No, we must change our attitude. Let's learn how to keep our food safe and health risk-free, get better hygiene rating, and improve our business.
There you have it. So everything you need to know about food safety and health safety issues. So I hope the participants have taken notes because you got some really good tips. I've got to admit, I think I'm going to do this every episode now right at the beginning because I think you need to know what you need to do just before you go. But two people that have definitely been by your side and given you the correct guidance is, of course, our mentors. Now, first of all, we have Arlene Odemaya, who's a prominent training consultant, independent hospital and healthcare professional, and also a mentor of mine who taught me first aid. Right, a couple of years ago. So thank you so much for coming on. Now, you're both quite lucky because you've got 3 participants and, of course, you've got 3 participants. What would you like to say to them quickly?
We discussed all the items we had listed, and I tried to encourage them to say what they did as good practice in their restaurants to make things safe and ensure that they have customers coming back and customers who are healthy and alive at the end of the meal, and just to really say why they think that they got the 5 stars, and also to maintain those practices, to maintain the 5 stars for the future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. And we also have Ziaur Chowdhury, who's a very friendly face, so a friend of the Catering Circle, of course, Restaurant Star of 2018, winner of Catering Circle Season 2, Restaurant Talent Show Awards 2017, and of course the owner of Montage. And I'm still waiting for my takeaway, which I haven't received, by the way.
You were supposed to talk to me.
Now, what would you like to say to your 3 participants?
I think I'd just say good luck to you guys. Don't feel nervous because they're all a friendly bunch. They don't look that dramatic, so just say how you run your business day to day, because obviously the food hygiene just bangs onto everything else that you do within your business. So you do it every day and just do it naturally what comes to you. Don't worry about the mic, don't worry about the cameras.
Don't worry about the sweat that drips as well. I promise you, you look good either way, so don't worry about it, right?
Absolutely.
You're not sweating today, so that's a good sign. So without any further ado, let's take a look at our contestants today. Now, apologies from Malabar and Cinnamon Indian Takeaway. We do, however, only have 6 participating in this episode, so we'll be eliminating 1 per round. So let's start round 1. All right, so I'm about to tell you how this is going to run, and I'm sure you already know it's all about your success stories within, obviously, the topic that we're talking about, which is about safety, food safety and health safety issues. So I want to know all your success stories, how you're implementing that in your restaurant, and that's what we want to know from the 6 participants in the first round, and of course you have 120 seconds to talk about it. So of course we've got our first participant right here. Hello and welcome. Now this is from Dalchini Spice, all the way from Bedford. We have Mohammed Chowdhury. How are you?
I'm fine. How are you?
Good, thank you. Really excited. You're looking dapper, so that's a good sign. So you ready for it?
Yes, I am.
120 seconds. I will stop you. I'll let you finish off your last sentence.
No problem.
This is where please take into account everything that your special judges and your panel judges and your mentor have said to you. Okay?
Thank you.
Your time starts now.
Assalamu alaikum. Good evening, all. Thank you, Shadala, for inviting me again. I will share briefly how to achieve a 5-star food hygiene rating. Your kitchen area must brighten up, cooking area and the food preparation area. Make sure no gaps anywhere in the premises to protect from pests from outside. Must have a pest control in place and follow the pest control recommendation report and maintain. You must do opening and closing checks every day. Must all of your kitchen staff train minimum level 2 for food and hygiene course. Must maintain a safer food, better business, including weekly and 4-weekly report, and immediately written down if any incident happen. Example, just say your sink tap doesn't work, and etc. Must your kitchen staff wear a clean uniform, including hat caps and protective shoes. Must have a separate food preparation area and the cooking preparation area, and they use the right chopping boards and a knife. Must be all food covered with the day label in the fridge. Kept cooked and uncooked food in a separate place. Checked all the food temperature before served to all customers. Must have a 2 temperature stick in the kitchen, example if one doesn't work. Must do deep cleaning weekly to prevent from grease. Must all of your equipment working order and the premises have a good condition, especially if you have any storeroom. That's all.
Would you like to add anything else? Maybe about fire risk assessments?
All of your fire risk assessment equipment is working order, and you do check regularly every day. And your staff must refresh every 6 months. We have a personal trainer in place. Every 6 months, we come to the restaurant and do the food and health safety course and refresh that. And our target is to keep everything in a safe.
Yeah.
And doesn't lose our 5-star.
Yeah.
And this is very important nowadays. As you know, justice is a big market. And on the Justice home pages, it's appear on the home pages if you have a whatever rating. So if you have a less than 5-star, your business will be immediately affected, and you will be losing down.
I'm going to let you finish off. Are you done?
Yeah, I'm
Excellent.
done. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Well done on that.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now, next up, we've got our second participant from Menston Spice. It's Ashraf Mir. Welcome. How are you?
I'm okay. Thank you very much.
Sir. Would you like me to explain what you're doing, or are you ready to go? 120 seconds to talk about your success stories around health and safety and food safety issues.
Yeah.
All right?
Thank you very much,
Your time
Channel S.
starts now, Ashraf.
Yeah, thank you very much, Channel S, for inviting me to this important event on food and safety health. First of all, I own a well-established takeaway in Menston, which is in Ilkley. It's a nice village. We're celebrating our 10th anniversary this year. So we're extremely proud of holding the 5-star award. We've been 5-star, we've had it for the last 3 years, and we always try to maintain that. And we tell our staff this is really important, and it's the way forward. And personal hygiene is extremely important. We make sure our staff are smart, they have their nails cut, they wear the appropriate footing. Some people try to come with sandals. We say, go home, get some appropriate, footing, then come back to work. Also, we explain to our staff that they need to, whenever they go to the toilets or whatever, they need to wash their hands, use the appropriate, cleaning materials, etc. And also, we tell them the importance of attending health and safety courses. So we encourage them. Obviously, if they get the certificate, it's there for 3 years. So after 3 years, obviously the law changes. So it's good to encourage them to do that. And they have a cleaning schedule on a weekly basis, so they know what they're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it's good to have that, put down in the takeaway, so the staff are aware. Also, our chef, plays an important part in the kitchen, because he's the one who's really preparing the food. So he needs to check the temperature of food. So daily we tell him at least once, check the temperature of the dish with a probe and record it and monitor it, in the record book. Also, the deliveries are important, because we get the deliveries ordered by a supplier. So whenever the fresh ingredients or anything come out, we make sure that it's checked, with the temperature checked, and is stored accordingly in the right places.
I'm going to let you finish on your last sentence.
Okay. And also, I think we also, we train our staff. Cross-contamination is really, really, an important issue. We make sure they use the appropriate boards when they're cooking the foods and all, or use the raw materials for like meat and all, with the red one obviously and the green one for vegetable and etc. And also lastly, can I finish this as well? I think
being naughty, but I'll let you.
Thank you very much. Allergen is one of the biggest issues now. Affecting takeaways and restaurants, and we need to be extremely careful, and we need to educate our staff, especially the chefs and other people, what kind of products they're using, how to use the products as well, and make sure the customers are well aware.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So thank you very much for your time.
That's great. Thank you. I do apologise.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. That was Ashraf Mir. Now, he's been a bit naughty, but we won't cap him for that. But thank you very much. Now, next up from Royal Tandoori, all the way from Corby, I have Anwar Hussain. Hi, Anwar. How are you?
Hi, I'm fine, thanks. How about yourself?
Excellent. Good, thank you. Are you ready to go?
Yep.
Do you want me to quickly go over the rules again, or are you all right? Shall I start the 120 seconds?
If you start, please. Yeah,
there we are.
okay.
Let's go.
Assalamu alaikum and good evening. Thank you for having me today. My name is Anwar Hussain. I'm from the Royal Tandoori restaurant in Corby. We've held 5 stars for the last 10 years, and we continue to do so. How we achieve this and maintain this is by identifying the 4 hazards, which are physical, biological, chemicals, and allergenic. The HACCP helped us analyse and control these hazards. Other two key areas that we find that are most important are protection against contamination and pest control. We also make sure that the kitchen is always maintained, cleaned, and all the utensils are clean as well. We also monitor personal hygiene of the staff, so the uniform, if they wash their hands or not after going to the toilet, smoking, checking the nails as well. That's something that we make sure that we do, because it's very important, so there's no cross-contamination. So also, we make sure that the food diary is maintained, so temperatures are logged, cooking temperatures, hot hold temperatures, also the fridge and freezer temperatures are monitored daily. So this is all recorded on a daily basis. We also make sure that all our staff have up-to-date hygiene certificates as well. So in the training is the most important factor of it all. So if it's the staff that helped us get the 5 stars, and they're the main important tool in our business, so we have to make sure that they're the ones that are trained effectively to make sure that we carry on getting these 5 stars. So,
got 10 seconds remaining.
Okay, so basically I think I've covered everything,
Anything else?
No.
Any insurance issues or anything?
No issues. Everything's in place. We obviously fire risk assessment we do as well. That's it.
Excellent.
Sorry.
Well, thank you so much for that. Well done. That was Anwar Hussain. Thank you very much. Now, next up, we've got the Pilgrims Karai in Essex. We've got Mahbub Hussain here. Hello.
Hi.
You looked a bit nervous. You've been sitting
really
there
nervous.
doing your
really
breathing
nervous.
exercise. That's what I do before I go on to any show. I've got like 15 years experience, and I still, before go on to
it's my first time here,
do all my surahs and then have to breathe in really hard. Well, are you ready? Would you like me to go through everything again, or are you ready?
No, I'm all right.
All right. 120 seconds. It starts now.
Yeah, so I've been running my family business for 3 years now, and it's in Brentwood. It's called the Pilgrims Karai, and it was actually on 3-star when we took over, and now it's actually on 5-star. After 6 months of taking it over, we cleaned everything, done everything, and made sure everyone was. All the health and safety and food safety certificates were all up to date. And then, so now we're on 5-star, and this is how we achieved it. Making sure personal hygiene, hands are washed all the time, nails are cut, fridge temperature. I make sure all my staff check the temperature and write it down in the logbook. Making sure there's no cross-contamination, and cleaning as well, making sure cleaning is separate from the cooking, chopping boards are separate, and cooking is separate as well. Cooking in the correct temperature. We also have pest control as well coming every 3 months. We've got a book as well, making sure everything's up to date, making sure we're defrosting properly, cooking at the right temperatures. Clean uniform is important as well. And then health safety, it's just making sure everyone is trained. Now we do it every 6 months. Before, I know it's 3 years, but we think that we should do it every 6 months. We should have a refresher every 6 months. So, because when we done it after like the first year, everyone was...
What do you have a refresher on?
On the health and safety. Health and safety. We've got Jamal Uncle coming in to do that for us.
Yeah.
It's important because it protects the employees, the customers and everything. We make sure the fire safety equipment is working as well, and renewing my liability insurance. Also making sure the canopy is cleaned. If the canopy is not clean, then the liability, you don't have insurance on that. So yeah.
I'm going to let you finish your last
sentence. First aid. Make sure we never had a first aid kit when we took over. Straight away got a first aid box. Yeah, I was shocked as well. We was like, that's it. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. I can see Arlene sitting there thinking, you know what, after the show, that's it. I'm going to test you guys on your first aid knowledge. So make sure it's up to date. Next up, last but not least. Oh, actually, it's not last but not least. We've got two more. We've got Master Chef from Luton. We've got Mr. Suruk Mia. Welcome to the show, sir. Would you like me to go over what you need to talk about, or are you ready?
It's fine.
Okay, 120 seconds starts now.
Okay. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah. Thank you everyone for inviting me to this studio, especially channelers. I would like to say thank you very much. Okay. I would like to talk about the food hygiene.
Yeah.
Because it is very important that we recognize the 4 hazards, which is we must know that it's physical, chemical, biological, allergenic. So we need to know what is it and how we can prevent this. So HACCP help us to regular checkup, like how we can prevent this, how we can make sure that we can supply the best and quality food, which make sure is safe. Because we always try to do that, make sure we can do, make sure that with contamination, we can make sure that we can always we can always protect the food, that make sure it's safe. Because what we do, we always check our personal hygiene. We always do chilling. When you cook, right temperature. When it's finished the cooking, we try to do within 90 minutes. That make sure food chilling, cold, and then put it in the freezer. Because the right temperatures, if we don't look after it, because this can go wrong from start to finish anytime. So we need to know how we cook it, how we chill it, how we serve it. That make sure it's nice and warm, and make sure the temperature is the right. And we always try to protect our staff's clothes. Make sure it's every day fresh. We always do every day cleaning clothes. Personal hygiene, that make sure we always check our staff's nail. Does they regularly wash their hands? We always monitor them. It's not that only just tell them. We always monitor them. We always tell them. We train them. We are from MasterChef. We say award-winning takeaway. Alhamdulillah, we've done a few awards, and we always practice. We always train our staff. We regularly go for. Sorry.
I'm going to let you finish your sentence.
Okay. Thank you very much. Okay.
No, you can finish your last sentence.
Now we do temperature. We always do temperature check. Defrosting. We always follow the defrosting. Cleaning schedule. We always go schedule. We always maintain this. We make sure we monitor it. Is it been done? When it's done? How it's done? And we always. Sorry?
I'm going to stop you there now. One more. You're being naughty as well.
No, we always do pest controls. We always make sure everything's up to date. And we always get our staff that when we take our staff, make sure they know. If they know, we train them.
Excellent.
Allergy training, everything. From start to finish, we try to train everything.
Thank you so much.
Very much.
You know what? He didn't breathe in that last sentence. He just wanted to say
no, I
it
just
all.
need to finish it because.
Thank you so much. Thank you. You can come and take my seat soon.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much. Now, last but not least, now this is a really cool today's show actually, because I earlier on mentioned this is the best show in the world, and we find you the best across the world, because obviously UK has the best restaurants, of course, I'm going to be biased, but actually we did get you restaurants from all over the UK, believe it or not. Today we've had restaurants from Bedford, from Ickley, from Corby, Essex, we've had Luton, and now this is the furthest we've actually gone, and it's so great to have this guy here. So I totally salute you, and so does my producer, because my producer was saying how amazingly organised and lovely you are, because, you know, you responded, you're here, you flew down last minute, and it's great. It's Eastern Spices. Guess where he's from, guys? All the way from Edinburgh. Can we give him a round of applause for that? For actually coming down.
Thank you.
So thank you so much. It's Asad Darali. How are you?
Thank you. I am fine, thank you.
Excellent. Awake and ready, yeah?
I'm a bit tired, but
it's all right.
We'll manage.
Yeah,
we'll
yeah.
manage.
It's fine.
It's a long travel.
You've got 120 seconds. Please talk about food safety.
Yeah, as you said, introduce my name is Asad Darali. I'm from Edinburgh. I've been living there since 1981, so it's been quite a long time. I started my first business in the Eastern Spices in 1993. Been running it since then, and it's for a small business, it's a successful business, and we've been successful up to now. And we've got now the third generation of our regular customers that started using us. So we don't very much pay too much attention on publicity. It's the regular customers who, the word of mouth, we get recommended. Because the success is the important role we played, my staffs and ourselves. Firstly, we pay very much attention on temperature and food hygiene. First of all, our staffs, they need to come in and change their clothes, not wear outside clothing, change their clothes, wash their hands thoroughly with antibacterial liquid, of course, before they start work, and check their nails, cuts, bruises, flu. If they might go through, they might have flu, or so we need to look into these things so that the bacteria doesn't spread. As I said, temperature is very, very important to maintain. Soon as the delivery or incoming deliveries comes into your premises, it's your responsibility to maintain the temperatures, processing, handling, preparing, cooking, and to present or delivering it to the customers. So all the steps, you need to be very, very careful in this industry.
10 seconds remaining.
I've got a lot more to say.
I'm so sorry. You've got 10 seconds.
Yeah. So the bottom line is, pay attention to the cross-contamination. Use separate boards, separate storage for separate foods. So, and temperature control is very, very important. You need to monitor it. There are lots of other things we do, but the most important thing is from the beginning to the end, you need to check the temperature controls.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
very much for that. Now, that's it, really. That was our 6 participants, and now this is where it's really going to get hard for our judges. We've got our panel judges, our special judges. Panel judges hold 60% of the votes, and special judges hold 40% of the votes. This is where they're going to vote for their favourite 5 that are going to make it through to round 2. But you'll find out straight after a quick break. Welcome back to season 4 of the Restaurant Talent Show 2019. Now, I have the results right here, and this is what our participants want to know. They want to know, they're scratching their head right now thinking, oh, have I made it through? Have I not made it through? Well, I'm about to tell you. Firstly, thank you so much to our judges for really putting their efforts in and working out who they want to take through to round 2. As I mentioned, instead of 8, we had 6 participating in this episode. So we will be eliminating 1 person per round. And at the end of round 3, we'll only be taking 2. So let's take a look at which participants, the best ones, have made it through to round 2. Let's take a look at the results right now. Waiting for it to come up. There we are. In first place, we have MasterChef with 78% of the votes. Congratulations and well done in first place. Then we've got Menton Spice with 76%. And Eastern Spices with 74%, Royal Tandoori with 72%, and we have a tie break. We should have some music for tie break. We've got the Pilgrim's Karai and Dalchini Spice with 70% of the votes. Now, if I could please have, the Pilgrim's Karai and Dalchini Spice to make their way to the front, please. So, because we're going to have to sort out, because it is a tie. So please, could I have from Dalchini Spice, if I could please have Mohammed Chowdhury here, and from Pilgrims, if I could please have Mahbub Hussain to make their way to the front. This has never happened, not in the first round, has it? I'm looking at Abdul Haq, it hasn't.
We all scored like quite same numbers. So
It was very, very close.
Very
it's never
close
been
indeed,
this
yeah.
close, actually. So if I could have both of you to the front, please. Now, this is how it's going to work with the tie break. Because we are only going to take one person out of you both to the next round, and we can't decide. So we're going to leave it to you to decide your fate. Now, our lovely Jamie here, who is our panel judge, has some magical cards in his hands. What you've got to do, who's given it a magical shuffle, have you? Yep, there you are.
Well done.
And what you've both got to do is come and pick a card, whichever one you want, and read it out to me. And whoever has the highest number will make it through to round 2. Have I explained myself?
Just read it out.
That's it. So if you both come, first take a card.
You go.
Take a card each. Don't read it to me yet, just hold on to that. And now if I could have you come, and you could go back to your place right there.
Sure.
There you are. Thank you very, very much. So whoever has the highest number will make it through to round 3. So Mohammed, if you could please tell me yours.
Number 6.
Number 6, and if I could please now ask Mahbub.
4.
Well, we're so sorry. We're going to have to lose you. I'm so sorry. You were absolutely brilliant.
Thank you for having me. Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you for coming.
Thank you.
But you know what? Don't worry, because you were so close. You might be coming back on another episode. You never know. Don't say I told you. All right, there you are. Thank you so much, and well done. Let's give him a round of applause on that. Thank you so much. It's all about round 2, but before we go on to round 2, let's go speak to our mentors. Now, Arlene, how are you feeling?
I'm quite confident in my mentees.
Yeah.
I just advised them to stick to the script.
That was very close, though, wasn't it?
It was indeed. And I hope the two that I mentored do go through, because I think they really deserve it.
Absolutely. Let's just mention who your mentees. Now, your mentees are from Dalchini Spice, Royal Tandoori, and MasterChef.
Yes.
Yep. 3 which are going through to round 2. So congratulations, well done.
Thank you.
Ziaur, how are you? We've just lost one of yours.
It was such an unfortunate way to go out.
Yeah.
He's such a young lad, and he done so well.
He did.
So well, and it's just, like I said, an unfortunate way to go out.
I have a strong feeling he's going to be back, because it was very close.
So. I hope so.
I'm pretty sure.
So, because he is the future of our industry. He's very passionate about what he does.
There you are.
So. Yeah,
he's just spoken for you, so we're most likely going to see you back, Mahbub, here. And just to mention, you've obviously got Eastern Spices. We've just lost the Pilgrim's Karai, and you've also got Menton Spice.
Yeah.
Excellent.
So I think
good luck to them, I guess.
Good luck. Yeah.
Excellent. Now it's all about round 2, so let's go take a look at round 2. Now, round 2 is all about training, and training is probably one of the most important things in any industry that you work in, because you need to be up to date with what it is that you're doing in the industry you're in, especially when it comes to health and safety or food safety. Training is the most important thing ever. Now, to tell us more, we've of course got our panel judges. So if I come to the man himself who's actually written a book about health and safety, am I correct in saying that? Food hygiene, right? Now, training is so important. What would you like to say to our participants?
Actually, in this business of food safety, training is most important.
Yeah.
And we must remember that knowledge is always the power. If you have the training, you have the knowledge.
Yeah.
And if you can keep it up, no health officer can beat you. And if you fail on your knowledge, if you cannot explain what you are doing, what you are supposed to do, then and only then the environmental health officer will find something wrong with you. So always have confidence, have your knowledge and apply it. That will be my advice.
I'm going to play devil's advocate here because I'm going to go straight to the king himself of of actually going there and getting the whip out. Now, is that true what Mr. Farooq just said?
I think yes, to a certain level, absolutely.
Can I get you to have the mic, please?
I will get the mic.
It's fine, it's fine. There you are, thank you.
Absolutely, training is absolutely essential for the food safety and health and safety. From my experience, all I could say is from the training, it's the level of how it's sort of trained. So if you're just theoretical, I tend to find not many people really understand it. But if you relate it on a, like a very basic level with pictures and sort of explain to them, at their level, then that sort of sticks in better than if you just go ahead and explain the legislation, etc. So that's the only advice I can say. But you're absolutely right. Training is one part of the full picture, but it's one of the essential parts.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Jamie, what would you like to say now, being on MasterChef, when it came to, being hygienic, because you've got cameras all around you, but being in a restaurant is a bit different.
I think being a manager in the restaurant, I think I totally agree with both points, is the fact that if I lead as a manager from the front and practice safe hygiene methods, then and pick up on the methods that my staff are doing wrong, then it's going to go into them mentally a lot more quicker, really. Some people learn a lot quicker by seeing it done. But yeah, definitely clean as you go, definitely. You've got to keep cleaning, you've got to keep making sure everything's tip-top, really. Yeah. And just the more cleaner you are when you work, the more productive you are when you work.
Thank you so much. And Abdahak, what would you like to say when it comes to focusing on training? What do you want them to say to you? What do you want to hear? What are the things you want them to tell you?
I think what's important is this is a specialized subject and it's huge. I mean, we're talking about fire risk assessment training, fast aid, allergen training, hygiene training, so many things to do. But at the end of the day, the knowledge needs to be passed through. And I'll be more interested how the owners kind of communicating with the staff. So if there is an allergen issue and a front of staff received the order saying, I've got peanuts allergy, how is that passed through the kitchen how is cooked and then delivered? So the kind of risk management issue, the kind of training the pass through. And the other thing is about, cost saving, because training is an investment for the business and you get RIO, return on investment, quite a lot back. So just a classic example is, health and hygiene training and food safety training, a few £100, you get all your staff trained. And next thing you know, you're doing cost saving on wastage. Hundreds of pounds in a week or a month you're receiving. So whatever investment you've done, you've got a return within a few weeks or a few months. So those kind of things I want to see the restaurant or participant covering today.
Absolutely. Well, I'm looking forward to that. Thank you so much. Now, as I wait for the participants to make their way to their, what should we call that? Their platform. Let's just call it platform for now. I was going to say prison, but we won't say that. To their dungeon. Let's not say that. But I'm going to get them to come to their platform. As they make their way, I just want to remind everybody at home today that don't forget you can be a part of it. All you've got to do is download the Catering Circle app And of course, you can watch back your favourite shows and you can also communicate with us. Don't forget, you can tweet us or Facebook us. I will read them out because it's a live show. So please do go ahead at Catering Circle. Now we're on to round two. Round two gets a bit harder. You've heard what our judges had to say, and of course your mentors. Please keep that in mind. First up, we've got Dalchini Spice, Mohammed Chowdhury back on stage. Congratulations.
Thank you.
And welcome back. You have 60 seconds in this round, so a lot less. But don't worry, hopefully in the next round or at the end of this round, you might get some questions from our judges. But 60 seconds, please take into account what our judges had to say and mention those things, all right?
Yeah.
And it's all about training focus.
Right. Shall I start?
Your time starts now.
Yeah. Right. As I discussed on my earlier conversation, we have a personal trainer who visited our restaurant every 6 months to refresh food and health and safety codes. We have a system in place to follow all of our staff. As example, daily checks, make sure all of our equipment in working order. Our waiter must ask the customers if they have anything to allergic. We make sure all of our fire equipment working order in a good condition. Building insurance, content insurance, public liability insurance must have in place. If you have a licensed restaurant, you must renew your alcohol license insurance every year. You must have a first aid box in the restaurant. As soon as you receive the goods delivery, you must check and sign, make sure all of the goods have a best before use date. To protect any incident, you must have some sort of signage. As example, if you have a wet floor, mind your head, fire exit, etc., etc. That's all.
Thank you. Would you like to mention about, I know it's zero, but I'll let you quickly touch on it, about management training and staff training?
Yeah, we have a separate books, not the, we have a separate books in place, and we have a system in place to maintain and to follow all of our stuff.
Thank you very much. Thank you so much. Thank you. Next up, we've got Menston Spice, Ashraf Mir back on stage. Again, please focus on, it's really important that you focus on training, because it is all about training. So how are you doing those training? And as Abdul Haq mentioned, cost saving. Are you saving any costs through these trainings?
Yeah,
Thank
you very much again. I think the training, management training is extremely important. I think our staff need to be up to date with training. Obviously, they're starting off with the basic food and hygiene, which is one aspect of the training that we make sure whichever staff starts our training, we'll see if they've got the certificate, we'll ask for the certificates to be in place. And also, it's really important that we have fire safety. We get a company coming in, checking our fire safety equipment, also giving some advice to the staff, make sure that they're following in case of fire, what the procedure is and etc. So all the staff are kept up to date. Also, I think it's very important, is management having an important role to delegate responsibility and training to certain aspects of the chef. Say the kitchen porter plays a very important role as well in the cleanliness of his area as well.
I'll let you finish on the last sentence.
So thank you. And also, it's very important, allergen keeps on coming up as well. I think it's important that when the staff are taking phone calls, to give the appropriate and right kind of advice. And if they're not sure, to get advice from the appropriate responsible person.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Just want to mention there was a technical issue there because the timing was not correct, but I obviously had the timing here, so I'm on point with it, so don't you worry. But thank you very, very much. Thank you very much for that. Now, next up, we've got from Royal Tandoori, Anwar Hussain. If I could ask Anwar Hussain to make his way onto the podium so he can speak about his successes when it comes to training. Are you ready? You have 60 seconds?
Yes, thanks.
Your time starts now.
Okay. In my opinion, the single most important thing to maintain the 5 stars is staff training. It's not actually easy, but it's good to get your 5 stars, but the main part is maintaining it, and make sure that you keep it, as we have been doing for the last 10 years. So the most important thing, like I said, is staff training. We make sure that all our staff have got level 2 food certificates. Yeah, that's including the kitchen staff as well as the front of the house staff as well. All our staff are first aid trained as well. So there's a first aid kit, and then obviously they're trained, so they know what to do if training is required. They also receive allergen training, so they're aware of what ingredients are, what food has what ingredients here, and make sure there's no cross-contamination because that can be deadly. Also, we have customer service training for the front of house staff as well. Yeah, that's where an external company comes in and does that. And we have refresher training every 6 weeks. Yeah, to just do refresh trainings as well. Okay, and a thing I wanted to say in the previous round was for the last 10 years, every year the health and safety, environmental safety team from Corby Borough Council come and eat at our restaurant at Christmas time. So obviously proves that we're doing something right.
There you are.
Thank you very much.
Are you giving them a whole load of discount?
No, not at all.
I'm kidding. I'm only joking. Well done. Thank you so much for that. Now, from MasterChef, from Luton, we've got Sirik Mia. If I could ask you to please make your way and again speak to us about your training success stories. Your time starts now.
Okay, thank you very much. We have got the process of training because we always train our staff. Make sure that all our staff knows they must have the knowledge of how they're gonna cook the food, and they must. All of our staff already got food hygiene certificate to level 2. We always train them because in Luton, Alhamdulillah, in BBF, they always train every year, and we always take part. All of my branches, they always take part, and it's very easy for us, and we always train them. And we always, allergy awareness, we train all of our staff, every staff in the front or back, everyone's, because we know how important is that. That make sure, and especially on our menu as well, we write it down for the easy for the customer, that they make sure they know what they're doing. And if they also, we put a note that they make sure they can ask. And all my staff knows that because we train them, we monitor them. We just don't leave them, we monitor them. When they service, we monitor them how they service. We always try to do that, make sure from start to bottom, customers are happy with us. Because this is our recommendation. Because when we serve food, when we make sure we good quality food.
Your time is up, but I'll let you finish.
Thank you so much. We want to make sure that all our staff regularly trained, and they do their service. We do staff briefing every week, 15 minutes. So we always go through all the staff briefing that make sure how we're doing, make sure everything is right.
He's going to carry on breathing.
If there's anything wrong, we will rectify it. And
there we are.
Learn from that. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
You know what? I love it when you come on, Mr. Beer, because you don't breathe. You just carry on finishing.
What I'm telling, this is my practical.
I know.
This is my practical.
And you're absolutely brilliant. And thank you very much
so
for that.
Thank you.
I know 60 seconds isn't enough, but unfortunately, that is actually our, what shall I say, that's probably the hardest part. That's the most challenging part of this show, that you have 120 and you have 60 seconds to explain yourself. But don't forget, the judges obviously have read your profiles before as well, and you've had your interview process, so they know how much knowledge you have. So don't feel too scared. Now, next up, we've got Eastern Spices from Edinburgh again, and we've got Asadar Ali.
Thank you, Nadia. I never thought I would get to the second stage anyway. Thank you very much to the judges.
The time starts now.
60 minutes is very small, but anyway.
Seconds.
60 seconds, sorry, 60 seconds. Anyway, the first, we make sure that all the utensils, all the equipments are well cleaned, well serviced annually, and have the right appropriate insurances in place, and allergens, and for food hygiene, cleanliness, our staffs, we meet once a week for half an hour to go through this, so that it keeps refreshing their minds. The environmental health, and most people know that everyone has a certificate, but that's not important to us. It's implementing what you've learned is very, very important. That's all I have to say.
Oh, wow. That's it?
Thank
Anything
you.
else? Are you sure? About management training, staff training, what you have in place?
Staff training, as I said, when we employ, we make sure that they have the training. But when we talk to them every week for half an hour, we know how much they know and how much they're implementing.
How about yourself? What kind of training do you do?
Everything I learned, I try to implement it.
Okay. Excellent.
So I have from basic elementary. By the way, the elementary in Scotland is equivalent to the second level of the English.
I just heard that it's a level 2. Excellent.
Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much for that. Thank you so much. And well done. So that's it. That's the end of round 2. So we've had our 5 participants come on and talk about their successes and just about training, how important it is. I'm actually going to go to Jamal right now and ask him a question. I mean, Jamal Ahmed, you're obviously you train in this area. It's very, very important. If I could ask someone to give the mic to him, please. And it's really, really important that they are up to date. Now, they've spoken about training, staff training, management training, just about. They didn't really touch on management training, which is why I asked, about leadership training, etc. But no one mentioned about staff progression. Yeah. Do you feel that's quite important when it comes to training in restaurants?
Yeah, thank you, Nadia. It's really important. If you look at the HACCP principle, the 7 principle of HACCP, which will ensure that your supervisor, your manager, to make sure he is trained and he ensures his staff members are well trained. So say for example, you said about the implementation, monitoring. Say for example, earlier it was mentioned that our staff is trained at level 2. Say for example, if you at least level 3 or level 4, so it means you are making sure what is cross-contamination, what is cleaning, what is cooking. Say for example, in terms of cooking, to make sure in terms of your monitoring, say for example, temperature record, reheating, and on the other side, on the management, like if I go to the health and safety side, a little bit like, for example, risk assessment, to identify the hazard and to look at the control measure they have, and if they do the risk assessment, for example, which will be reviewed twice in a year or in each 6 months. And again, also if they do an assessment, risk assessment, say for example, on their opening check and closing check and weekly check. The gentleman said earlier that they find out what went wrong and what went well and how to improve themselves. So if they do an evaluation through the 7 principle of HACCP, if they do follow all the forms, all the due diligence, which will ensure that they are compliant, and I would say also to get the training and get the skills. If they have the sufficient skills, they will implement it to continue and the compliant with the regulations.
Absolutely. Thank you so much. Now, talking about regulations, actually, let's touch on insurance. I mean, when it comes to insurance, making sure that they're insured, they've got all the correct, they're following all the regulations, have the correct licenses. Is there any sort of training that they need to go through for that?
Well, obviously, health and safety is just as important as health and hygiene. Yeah. At the end of the day, everyone's gone on about health and hygiene, but if you're somebody going into the restaurant, you slip over, as Jamal said, if they've not carried out risk assessments and they've not recorded it. Yeah. What's not come across today is record keeping.
Actually, one person did.
Well,
and
actually,
that was
he
Mahbub
did.
who left.
Yeah, he did.
But
he
Mahbub
did.
actually did mention that.
Yeah, he did. I did write that down. But you see, at the end of the day, I keep saying that, but if there's a claim, the records you keep will be the difference between not paying out to someone that doesn't deserve it and paying out to somebody who alleges they've got food poisoning.
Okay.
And the other thing as well, when we look at the insurance for the restaurant, we do look at the hygiene rating. Yeah. If you haven't got, if you've got less than 3, I can't insure you.
That's actually very important to know. Yeah. So
and it's not just me; it's other insurance companies.
Hence why training is so important, because it will make sure that if you're following all your hygiene training, then you will be in a better place. Now, they didn't mention, I think maybe a couple of people mentioned, I'm not too sure actually, I can't recall, but they didn't mention having like a book in place. I mean...
Oh, we see, you should always have an accident book.
Yeah, yeah. Now, so having an accident book
you must record any incident, be it in the kitchen or in the restaurant itself. So, I mean, I'll give a tip.
Yeah. This is for free, by the way.
This is
it
for
only
free.
happens on the Restaurant Talent Show.
This is for free. If somebody alleges that they've fallen over because of a hazard on the floor, and you happen to be a licensed restaurant, keep the bill. It's very difficult to defend somebody falling over in high heels when she's had 2 bottles of Pinot Grigio.
Oh, wow.
No, but it happens.
Yeah.
You know, keep a note, keep a record of what they were wearing, how intoxicated they were when they came into the restaurant.
And this is where CCTV and taking pictures are very, very important.
Witness statements.
My lawyerness is coming out in me right now.
Witness statements and write it down. Take photographs.
absolutely.
You've all got phones.
Yeah. So really, really important.
Very
to do that.
important.
Thank you so much. So we've got loads of tips right there, and also actually, whilst I know our judges are actually they are voting right now. Is that correct? Yep. Brilliant. Has our panel judges finished? Yes. So we're just waiting for our special judges. So I'm still going to carry on speaking to you all. Actually, something they didn't mention about. I mean, they did mention it, but how important is it to actually have like a training booklet in place? So something I liked about Mahbub, I know he's left, but something he mentioned earlier, which I thought was really good, that he likes doing it every 6 months, and he had something in place where, you know, people could look back at and have a look at. Nobody else has mentioned that. How important is it? I mean, you know, you've been in the restaurant industry for years. How important is it to have have things in writing in front of you? And as earlier on Raza mentioned about having, you know, it's important to have things with photos and pictures. So even washing hands, you know, should they have like a NHS guideline on how to wash your hands in the toilets? And
writing is very important. I tell you what, because when you are writing any incident in your book, it is a kind of witness sort of. You can demonstrate.
And
that,
the FSA guidelines too, right?
It is. For example, if there is a glass breakage in the kitchen of any restaurant, and if you did not write it down, and if any customer, right, he goes to the environmental health officer, he complains that my food was contaminated with piece of glass, and that was the physical contamination, right? They can prosecute you if you did not write it down. So if you did write it down in your Safer Food, Better Business, that on such and such date there was a glass breakage, it was such and such color, and what did you do after it was broken? If you write it down, and if they take you to the court, if you prove that yes, I do write, that is my habit of writing an incident, you will be saved.
Excellent.
And if you don't write it down, then you will be fined.
Of course, and that's something that Jan mentioned earlier on, and actually taking pictures, having evidence, witness statements are something very, very important to keep on file.
Because these are your evidence.
Yeah, absolutely. And Jamie, I'm going to ask you, how important do you feel, you know, the employer's liability insurance, having that in place when it comes to health and safety?
Well, I think it's very important. You know, there's a lot of people out there who are trying to get as much as they can out of you, really. So we cover ourselves all the time, and I think going back to the training records of keeping them every 6 months, training them every 6 months, it drills into your staff, you know, how we should be organising our business as in the best safety method, really. And it's also great to have when the EHO officer comes around, because, you know, you do your training and then you've got a certificate for 3 years, so you don't really have to train for 3 years. Now, doing it for every 6 months, I think it's fantastic.
I thought that was brilliant.
I was very impressed with that. So it's something I'm going to start doing in my restaurant, I reckon.
Yeah, there you are.
There
So you've picked something up from here, which is great. Mr. Huck, what would you like to say?
Well, firstly, I think they've covered quite a bit. It's a big subject. This is just giving some highlights.
They did well in 60 seconds, actually.
I mean, there are a lot of things to cover. I mean, first aid hasn't been covered. Fire risk assessment is so important. I know that a lot of people cover the hygiene part quite a bit, but there are bits and bobs that hasn't been done. But the most important is, it's not just training. Also, you need to implement that in your own restaurant, and that's where the management comes in place, the restaurant or the owner, and they have to manage the risk. You know, there's so many different type of risk, the compliance risk, as you know, operational risk, accidental, financial risk as well, and insurance like that can help when you have a big claim. If you have a good insurance, you can pay that back. So it's not just about doing the training, but also implementing it at the right place and managing that risk. That's a bit more I want to hear on the next round as well.
Well, I'll tell you what, in the next round you can give them some tips before they go in, because I do have the results already for our round 2, but I will be revealing it after a short break. Welcome back to season 4 of the Restaurant Talent Show 2019. We've just completed round 2 and our judges have voted where, you know, they were really under pressure, and you're not going to believe it. We do have a tie again. They're really under pressure today because they cannot decide on who they really want to take through to the business conference, I guess, because they want to take all of them, as far as I'm aware, because the results are very close. So without any further ado, let's take a look at the results. In first place, we have Royal Tandoori, congratulations. And then we have Menston Spice with 76%, only 2% less than Royal Tandoori, actually. Master Chef has 70%. And yet again, Thai, we have Dalchini Spice and Eastern Spices. Congratulations. And if I could have the two that have had a tie to the front, because they're about to pick out their magical cards. It's a tie. All right. You're back again.
Yes.
We love you here. We just want to keep you here.
Very unusual.
This has never happened, actually. Not even on the Catering Circle show or on
to make the show longer.
First. There you are. That's what it is. So let's not make it longer because we want to talk to you guys. You know what the drill is. If I could ask Jamie to shuffle it again, please. Give it a good shuffle. Don't let them see the numbers. And then if I could have you both please come forward.
You were the elder, so you
and pick out. Thank you. And then if you could go back now, and if I could ask you. So who would like to go first? Eastern Spice?
What do I do?
What number do you have? Tell us what number you have.
I have number 6.
Number 6.
And
number
4.
Number 4.
Good luck.
Congratulations. And well done. You know what? Can we have a look at those numbers? Can you show us just to make sure? Because you know. All right. So you know, it's not fixed. It is real. Thank you so much. Thank you very much. But well done. No, but congratulations for coming this far, and well done to you. If I could ask you to go back and get ready for round 3. That was so close, Dalchini Spice. I think you need to go and speak to Mahbub Mohammed because I think he's jinxed you. All right, without any further ado, it's all about round 3. I'm actually going to come to Ziaur first. How do you feel? Because we've just lost Mohammed.
Yeah, I don't feel great about it again because I just think it's the wrong way of doing things. We're going to change that, aren't we?
Yes, well, we discussed it. We'll have to speak to Mr. Hock about that.
But I'm glad on the gamble my contestant won, so I'm happy about that. So.
Absolutely. Oh gosh, you had both of them, didn't you?
Yeah.
Because it was oh no, we had Dalchini Spice with Arlene. Sorry, Arlene.
Well, I am disappointed that he's out, you know, but all of them are so enthusiastic. And in the short space of time they're given, you know, it's so difficult for them to say what they really want to say.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I'm sure they'll be back in one way or another.
Let's see. Fingers crossed. Thank you so much. All right, now round 3 is all about focusing on cost saving and, of course, safety management and revenue increase by marketing and by branding, which is super important, especially in the industry that we're in, and especially in the time that we're in. Branding is so important, and you've got to make sure that you're doing that correctly. And of course, I want the participants to really think about and focus on how the business saves money on maintaining food and health and safety issues, and of course completing the Safer Food Better Business, as we mentioned earlier about the SFBB folder, which you mentioned. Would you like to quickly touch on that?
Yes, certainly. SFBB stands for Safer Food Better Business. We talked about training earlier, but this is a really fantastic manual what all restaurateurs, the food business operators should have. And from the manual itself, there's fantastic information as well as pictures that sort of helps the staff understand the business on a practical level. So I would recommend that the proprietors use that the manual to help the staff fulfill the training needs.
Yeah. Excellent.
okay.
I could see Mr. Khan itching to say something. What would you like to say when it comes to round 3? Because, you know, you being a restaurateur yourself, how do you feel when it comes to branding, and how important is it?
Well, it's very important because, firstly, I'm very disappointed because of the lost one of the young contestant, because he was really good.
He'll be back, I'm sure.
Yeah, I don't know like what's point he lost, you know, but
Well,
because I always
you guys judged. Can I just mention 40% of the votes, 60% of the votes.
Yeah, he did really well. Yeah. So in terms of like the talent show that you are doing, is fantastic, and this is where you actually bringing the youngsters, you know, and it's very important for the business. And safer food, better business is to maintain. This is very important. But just let me give you an example.
Yes.
The other day I was flying with the EasyJet, and one of the customer had the nut allergen.
Yeah.
So because of the nut allergen, they are not allowed to sell any nuts on board.
Oh wow!
So that's how important the the allergens. If you see the 14 allergens that you know.
Yeah.
So this is for their reputation, they have actually stopped selling the nuts on board because they actually issues could affect her, you know, because of the nuts. So it's very important for any businesses, you know, to selling something that allergen is really need to be focused on and is need to be careful.
Absolutely.
Thank you.
Well, thank you so much for that. Thank you for those kind words. Very, very important. So without any further ado, let's move on to round 3. Now, round 3, as Oli Khan mentioned and Raza mentioned, it's all about cost savings and really focusing on food safety and health safety issues. I'm going to ask Manson Spice to please make their way. We've got Ashraf Mir, who's going to be coming on here. You have 60 seconds, sir, to speak about this topic. And please keep in mind, I'm just going to remind our audience, we don't have much time left, but I will try and squeeze in some questions at the end. 60 seconds start now.
Thank you very much. First of all, you know, I mean, it's very important, as the panelists have mentioned, we use, because we're in the Bradford Council, we use the Safe to Food, Better Business. And we take that really importantly because, you know, I mean, we have to monitor and do the opening checks, closing checks, and record the temperature. So that's vital. And also, we work closely with Bradford Council. We take feedback from them constructively and learn if we've made any mistakes to improve it as well. And saving money, we buy, rather than buying in bulk, we buy weekly shopping, fresh products as well. And we've seen that the customers are happy, we're getting more turnover as well. And also, having a 5-star also reduces the insurance as well, and we found the insurance to be cheaper as well. And we're proud to have the 5-star on the window. Customers go past and see it for the last 3 years. And it's excellent to promote that through social media, through Facebook, local media, menu drops, and of all of the things, it's a word of mouth as well, which is vital as well. And lastly, allergen information. We update our menu and we try to list down what the allergen is. You know, I mean, what kind of ingredient goes into as the chap said earlier. And it's very important to be clear and precise. Then at least you're safeguarding yourself. So
I'm going to ask you to finish there.
Thank you very
so
much for your time.
Thank you very much. Thank you very, very much. Next up from Royal Tandoori, we've got Anwar Hussain back on. And again, Anwar, it's the same thing for you. You have 60 seconds to speak about God, I've totally forgotten, just about cost savings. There you are, watching you come there. Just all about cost savings and how important it is.
Okay, so obviously having the 5 stars, does increase trade. Obviously you have better practices in place. So you have less waste, so which means more revenue. How we advertise our 5 stars is obviously we have the scores on doors, the stickers that you display on the windows or doors, so passing trade can see. Also, every time we've received it, every 3 years or so, we've always sent out a press release to the local newspaper, radio. Even though it's not a story that might run all the time, they do. Sometimes they pick up on it, and it's a huge marketing tool. Also, we include in all our promotional material like flyers, websites, social media. We have Facebook and Instagram influencers that actually mention it as well in their posts and in their posts on Instagram and Facebook. Which helps a lot as well. We find. So apart from that, the allergens as well on the menus that are listed. All the staff are aware what goes in what dish, what ingredients and what dish, so they can point down. If they're not sure about something, they always ask, so we never ever always say to them, never ever just say yes for the sake of it. You always ask if you're not sure about something.
I'm going to let you finish on that note. I'm so
And I'll
sorry.
finish on that
Thank
note
you
as well.
so much. Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much.
Well
Thanks.
done. Next up from MasterChef, we have Suruk Mir. And if I could please ask Suruk Mir to keep within his time limits. You have 60 seconds to talk about this topic. Your time starts now.
Okay. We have got safer food, better business. We always maintained it. So on that ones, we just only don't write it down, opening it and closing. We always write it down what's happening. Any incident or anything, because we go, everything's like a proper diary. We keep it like a proper diary. From now on, what we need to be cooked for tomorrow, whatever, what we cooked, what we are wastage, everything we write it down. And from that point of view, we can save a lot of money because we know what sort of amount we need to cook. So we cook less amount, fresh, and which is good for the customer and good for us because we cut our wastage. And when we cut the wastage end of the year, we save a lot of money. Plus, we give the customer the fresh food. So we work hard because we have to cook a few times, maybe when you're really busy night, but we save our money. Plus, we serve the customer the better food. Plus, on allergy-wise, because we always put on our menus on the sides that what comes in which curry and what comes on the rice and whatever we sell it, because customer is properly aware, and we train our staff. Everyone knows about it, and when if they're not sure, they always ask their supervisor, and we always make sure we train ourselves. They make sure we serve the better food, safer food.
Thank you. Well done. Can we give him a round of applause for finishing on time?
We are one of the 5-star
No. We gave you a round of applause. It finishes right there.
We won the English Curry Awards in a few times. 3 times.
There you are. There we are. Thank you so much, Mr. Mir. I would love for you to come and sit here and co-host with me one day. I think we'd be great together. Thank you so much. Next up, we've got Eastern Spices. Just made it through, so he's got luck on his side today. Asadar Ali. So please, if I could ask you to make your way. You brought luck from Edinburgh with you today, didn't you? Your time starts now, yeah?
Okay, thank you. How do we save money on shopping or for our business? First of all, we buy quality food with good prices. You can't compromise on quality, but you look for the good prices. You save money on insurance, get better cover, and less cost. Card transaction machines and gas, electricity, all these things adds up, and end of the year, you can see a substantial amount of money you have saved. And we have managed to achieve 2 times Scottish Curry Awards. We've been recommended highly by the local newspapers number of times. So that's it. Thank you very much.
Thank you very, very much. You're always on point with your timing, aren't you? I'm going to ask you to stay there, please. And if I could please ask the 3 participants to also make their way to the front. And as I mentioned earlier on, what happens here is the judges, the panel judges and the special judges will have the opportunity to ask a few questions to all 4 participants. So if I could have all 4 participants please make their way to ask questions. If they felt that they've missed out on something or they really want them to explain something, then this is the opportunity they will have for the participants to explain themselves and, of course, just speak out, basically. So I'm going to start with our panel judges. We've got all 4 here on the podium. Please feel free to ask a few questions. We don't have much time, so I will ask you to keep 1 question per participant. And participants, you don't have a lot of time to answer the question. You've got 30 seconds. So I will rudely stop you if I feel like you're taking too long to ask the question. Mr. Farooq, do you have something to ask?
Yes. End of the day, you have to save your food in order to make profit for your business. There's no point of having your training, keeping the record. If you cannot make profit, you will go out of the business. So that is why saving the food is most important. And you said it nicely that how you save your food. You buy very less and you save the money on that one. Can I ask Mr. Asadar, how would you save your money in terms of cooking less amount of food and not wasting a lot of food at the end of the day.
If I could ask you to just use the mic, if you could come forward to the mic.
Yeah. Yeah, how we can achieve this? You know your business very well. Everyone knows their own business very well. They know how much taking they're going to do that particular evening. So they have an idea and how much food to be prepared. So they need to keep an eye on it and make sure that the temperature, as I said earlier, it is maintained, because you cannot save the food if it's not the standard if it's not usable. So you need to make sure that you do less wastage and to keep the standard and save the food.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for that really good question. Mr. Ahmed has a question too.
Thank you. I got a question to Mr. Suruk Mia. Okay, Mr. Mia, you said about fresh food, better food, and what is in the curry. We heard about allergen information according to the regulation 2014. We knew about Natasha Law, who died in the plane traveling to France. Recently, the schoolboy Kiran Ba, who died on cheese allergen. So my question specifically to you about the 14 allergen information. I believe you are from MasterChef.
Yes.
Say for example, you are cooking chicken korma for your customer. In terms of allergen information, what kind of information will you provide in your menu in terms of allergen ingredients?
All the nuts and all the 14 things. Am I using this? If I'm using it on the chicken kurma, on that menu, I'll write it down that what is it, because what we put a mark there, that is, for example, milk or eggs, nuts, mustard, whatever. If I'm using on that curry, I write it down on the sides when I put a menu, especially that goes inside. Please ask clearly. Make sure that customers, no doubt about it, we don't want to take any risk. We can't take any risks, no doubt. We want to make sure that if the customer got any doubt or allergy, we always try to make sure the same pan we're not going to use it.
Thank you.
Chicken, whatever. We don't use the same utensil, same pan, same spoon, everything. We washed everything clean.
Yeah, thank you. That's the way you can reduce your premium down in insurance. You can save the money. Thank you.
And actually, something
save the customer life as well.
Thank you. Something that Jan mentioned earlier on, actually, while we were on a break, about the employer's liability. Would you like to just tell them?
Basically, we've touched on insurance, but I think what's not being brought out is that employer's liability is compulsory by law. The health and safety people, when they come round, will ask for the certificate.
And if they don't have it,
got it, you've got up to a 10,000. Have you got it?
Yes, I've got the certificate. And I put it on the wall. I put it on the wall, so every staff, every customer, they can see it.
Yeah, you've got a £10,000 fine if you haven't got it. If you've got it and you cannot produce it, you can be fined on a daily basis.
Yes, ma'am.
But an electronic copy is allowed now.
Yes.
Excellent.
But
we've gone into the real world.
We always display
paper.
for the customers. So.
I'm going to come to Jamie now. Would you like to ask a question, and who would you like to ask the question to?
I feel like with the pressure of business coming in and keeping up with hygiene standards, is there any time that you've felt like your fridges have gone down, and what have you put into place to bring this back to standard with the pressure of the business coming in? Can I ask that to
Anwar?
Royal Tandoori?
Yep.
If you could just make your way. Thank you.
Okay, what you just mentioned there has happened to us in the past, and happened at a quick little time, which was on a Friday evening, when if anything goes wrong, always goes wrong on a Friday evening. So what we've done, in a situation like that, we've hired a outdoor fridge, the mobile fridges, for that period of time until we get our fridge fixed, In that instance, obviously, we couldn't get it fixed, so we had to buy a new one. So, we have these protections in place. If anything goes wrong, then you've always got a backup plan.
Okay, fine.
So,
Thank you very much. Mr. Huck, would you like to ask a question?
Yes. Okay, let's see. Basically, I want to know about how you, as an owner, you manage risk. There's so many different types of risk involved in your business. So, supposing one day you are sick and you haven't turned up, how your business manages some of the risks? Just talk about allergen risks. As a customer called in and say, I've got allergy with nuts, how would that be managed without you being there?
Yeah. Certainly, that's a very important question you've raised. I think previously, last couple of months, one of our staff, he rang up and said he's got a vomiting problem and nausea and this and that. So I said to him, look, if you got that problem, we don't want that to be spread within the staff. Don't come to work. We'll manage, and if we need to bring someone in emergency cover, we'll bring in somebody in. If not,
thank you.
we'll cover for you.
Yeah,
okay,
thank you very much. I am going to ask the panel judges to start voting, please, because we're waiting for the votes to come in. Whilst they're still voting, have you voted, Mr. Khan? I'll let you vote. Whilst you vote, I know Raza has a question.
Can I ask 2 questions, Nadia?
Yeah, we don't have much time. It's got to be really quick because we've only got 4 minutes left. So
2 very quick questions.
One question. I'm going to give you one question.
One question it is. The best part I'm trying to think, yes. When we sort of do the inspection, we sometimes find a lot of people having rice out of temperature, so left in ambient temperature. So, we heard all the nice things about how you maintain your management system, but how do you monitor something like that not happening in your workplace?
To?
Can I
One person.
direct it to the gentleman on the grey suit? Because I think you mentioned about
Mr. Ali. So if you could
you
please
said about
answer.
4 weekly checks you make.
Yeah, especially rice and chicken, of course. They are the very critical items in our restaurants and takeaways. Rices, we try our level best. As I said earlier, that you cook the amount you actually need or you're going to need. Rice, you don't need. I don't like the idea of storing old rices. Staffs eat rice, they finish it up. Very hardly in our place, the way we've established, we don't have leftover rices, to be honest with you. But we don't keep. We have it's a very established business, so we know how much rice we need to cook. So. We don't have, even though if it's a little bit, we just throw it away anyway. So we don't leave rice to use it for next day.
Excellent. Thank you so much for that. I know Ali Khan has one question. I'll let you do that quickly.
Yeah. So my question to 4 of you, how do you handle your complaints when customer complains? Say, for example, they ask you for a gluten-free meal. Yeah, how do you handle that? And how do you handle your complaints? So shall I ask Anwar, how do you handle your complaints?
First part, when somebody asks for gluten-free.
If I could ask you to just come forward and answer that question.
If somebody asks for gluten-free, obviously we'll make a note of it on our EPOS system here, and make sure the chefs are aware that they've asked for gluten-free food or any other allergens they've got. Yeah, we make a note of that and we translate that to the chef. If they complain about any reason, we'll try to understand what the problem is first of all. Yeah, then obviously if it's something like critical, we'll check with the chefs here, make sure that they've actually they've followed the right procedures. Yeah, or if somebody says they've found something missing or they've had something extra. Yeah. Make sure, speak with the chefs, and if obviously investigate the problem and then try to come to a resolution.
Thank you so much. Mr. Khan's being very naughty there.
Yes, they do.
Just quickly.
Yes, they're aware that we have refresher training. Make sure they do.
Excellent. Thank you so much. I know you're the Vice President, but we've all got to follow the rules here. But thank you so much. No, honestly, thank you to our special judges and to our panel judges. I'm just waiting for the votes to refresh, and as the votes refresh, I'd like to say a big thank you to our panel judges and would like you to just say your goodbyes before I give the results. So I'll come to Mr. Farooq first.
Yeah, thank you, and goodbye from all of you. Thank you.
Any advice? Very short.
Time is short, that's why I was hurrying up. But one thing we have to remember, that we are in the serious business of making money. And in order to stay in the business, you have to remember that prevention is better and cheaper than cure. So don't waste your food, save your food, make enough money, stay in the business, then you can take the training and all this stuff.
Thank you very much. Jamie, what would you like to say?
Well, thank you very much. I've really enjoyed seeing you guys. You've done really well. Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
Mr. Huck?
Yes, thank you, everyone. I mean, from all the way from Edinburgh, Birmingham, and other places. So thank you for supporting the show. Most important, I think, from this is a very kind of long, many subject area to cover, and it's a kind of specialist subject. So it has to come from training. So you have to believe in the training. You have to learn it for yourself and then pass it to your staff. And the investment you make, you get the return on investment 5-10 times more over the years, especially from wastage and other things. So it's very important. We really do the training for all our staff. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Now I do have the results in my hand right now, and I'm about to announce the 2 that are going to make it through to the business conference in 2020, where you'll actually get to compete with all the winners of this show and be crowned the restaurant of the year. So here we go. Without any further ado, these are the results. Going through to the business conference with 82% of the votes is Menston Spice. Well done, Ashraf Mir. Congratulations. And Master Chef Suruk Mir with 80%. Well done. Congratulations. Well done. And of course, we are having to say goodbye to Royal Tandoori and Eastern Spices. I'm so sorry. We are having to say goodbye to you.
Thank you.
But let's say a big congratulations to none other than Menston Spice and MasterChef.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
I'm going to go straight to our mentors before I come to our winners. How are you feeling, Zio?
Yeah, no, absolutely great. I think it's travelled a long way from Bradford, so it was worth his while, I think. So, but obviously all of them are fantastic because the practices that they got in place.
And this was Menston Spice, which is your mentee.
Menston Spice, yeah. So they've done an absolutely fantastic job.
Excellent.
And really good with all the information that we've got across today. So.
And Arlene, yay! So we've got one from each, which is great. So MasterChef was yours.
Yes.
And what would you like to say? Congratulate him.
Yes, congratulations. And it's so sad to see any of them leave. You sort of want to keep for everyone.
Of course.
But of course we can't. And, I congratulate both persons who have come through. And I've really enjoyed mentoring, and I've really enjoyed listening to all you have to say.
Thank you very much. I'm sure you will be back, so don't you worry. Our winners, of course, well done. Congratulations once again. Please, if I could ask you to say a few words, I'll ask Mr. Ashraf Mir to say it first.
First of all, I'd like to thank again Channel S for organising this fantastic, event. It's very important, food and hygiene and this and that. And I'm really surprised that I've won because everybody's a winner. The people who contributed to today's, all the businesses, they're doing fantastic work in their own. And hopefully this is the first aspect that we need to do and improve. Only this type of thing will increase our businesses.
And Suruk Mir, I'm going to give you literally 10 seconds.
Thank you very much.
Because I know you'll take longer than that. So 10 seconds.
Thank you so much, especially to Channel S to invite me to be at this studio. I really appreciate for everyone, and especially all the judges coming here, working all the hard work. And thank you so much to bought me that.
And Nadia,
thank
for
you,
giving
Nadia. Thank you so much, Nadia. Thank you so much. It was my pleasure to, especially. Really, this is the first time I think I came to the show live. Okay, thank you very much,
well,
and hope to see you again.
Well, you will. Don't you worry. I'm going to be co-hosting with you very soon.
I am one of the best
oh my God, he's
award winner chef. Please try my food.
I'm sure we will. There you are. That's branding and marketing live on television right here. It only happens on this show. It's time for me to say goodbye now. Thank you so much for joining me.
Thank you so much to everyone.
I will be back again on the 20th of August. He's not stopped talking. I will be back on the 20th of August with a new episode, so make sure you come join me, and don't forget you can download the Catering Circle app and you can watch back your favourite show. Thank you so much. Nadia Ali signing out.